I'm Patrick Bailey with IQlist.com. Today is September 2nd, 2019. And in this video, I'll be going over a weighted doorstop I designed. Okay, so this is another thing about me solving problems in my new house. So we have a need for some door stops because once you open the windows in this house, all the doors slam shut. And it was driving us a little crazy. And a traditional doorstop, I didn't like the idea. And I got inspired by kind of two things. So when we were first moving in, I had, if you've seen a previous video, I had my weighted chains in a box for my debt. So I made a bunch of chains. They're actually down here on the floor that represent our debt on the house. And so those were all in a box and they happened to be near the door. And so we just used that to prop the door open, just a little cardboard box they were in. And it was very convenient because I could kick it off and put it back and kick it off. So it was nice to move with my feet and not have to get unstuck and move something down there for a doorstop. So I thought, I like this idea. Let me see if I can make some weighted thing on the ground that I can kick with my feet back and forth. And that would be kind of perfect for me. But also if I need to, put a handle on it. And so I was inspired by that. And I was also inspired by something I remember from my childhood. My parents had this brass weight. It was pretty heavy and had a big handle on the top. And so if you can look at my little design I put together here in my little sketchbook, you can see I got this little big handle on the top. And the idea is of making two pieces that screw together and kind of make it look like like a gourd or something that kind of makes it fat on the bottom. So the more weight's on the bottom versus on the top. So it's bottom heavy, so it's not going to tip over. And then fill it full of something of pennies or something like that. But then I was showing it to my father and explaining what inspired me for the top piece. He's like, oh, I've got that still. So he goes over and grabs this and pulls this thing out. And it turns out to be a couple of stories. So one, I learned something interesting, that this weighted thing, let me show you, see if I can find a picture. This thing that he has physically looks like this. And I'll put some links to this. It's kind of interesting. And so he told me, which may or may not be true now that we've talked a little further about it, is that this was used for horses. And so the idea was, and this is something true, it's interesting, if you can't tie a horse to a hitch, so you tie him to a hitch, he's okay. But if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you can't tie him to something, I guess what they would do is they'd have these weighted, I don't know the name of it, weighted portable hitch, I guess. And so the idea was, he said, they'd tie it to this weight and they'd put this weight on the ground and the horse wouldn't go away. And I'm thinking, well, that sounds kind of dumb, but in my mind, I'm thinking here's like a 20 or 30 foot piece of cord. And of course, a horse can carry a 7-pound weight, no problem. That's not what he's talking about. What they talked about is this, they put this on the harness on the head, is my understanding. And if someone else knows better, they can correct me because it's an interesting story. And so if they were, I guess, in a normal position, the weight would be on the ground and they would stay there. But the minute they tried to raise their head up, they would raise the weight up. And as a result, unless something really serious happened, they would just kind of stay there. So it's a little portable hitch, I guess. And so I started looking for portable hitches or whatever, and I kind of found the right word, and I found some pictures, but I couldn't find a picture of this because this was not actually designed for that, from what I found out. What I found out is, and this, it's a weighted set. So it's an old school weighted brass set of, official stamped weight. So they're official. This is 28 pounds. The one they had was 7 pounds. So that you would use this on your scales. This was actually a weighted set that was officially recognized and calibrated. And so that's what they had. But it could have been used for a horse, thing. It was interesting. But basically it was used for a calibrated weight set. So anyway, interesting story. Now, I just thought that was interesting. So that was my idea, to put that all together and make a weighted set. So that's what I did. And so now I put it on Thingiverse. And it's thing 384. There you go. This one happens to be thing 3842169. I also put it up on Prusa. And on Prusa, it's 5434. Now, one thing that's driving me a little crazy on Thingiverse lately is I like to put this image to describe what's going on. And right now, it doesn't want to show it. So it's like it's showing my second image here just fine. But my first image, it's not. But if I go out and look for it, it will probably show up. So if I go, let me go see if I can explore. It's driving me crazy. If anyone knows an answer to this, because I loaded up a PNG and then loaded up a JPEG and they're still not working. So if I go explore, things, and it's pretty recent, so I should show up here in the newest somewhere. There you go. See, that pops up just fine. There's that nice picture. But if I go in here, it's not showing up on the screen. I don't know why. But if anyone has an answer to that, it says, you need to use a file this size or that, or it'll eventually figure itself out. I eventually got the other one to work, and I don't know why. So I'm a little curious why it's not working. But anyway, there they are. Download them, print them out. And the idea is this is a big shell. So it's like a gourd. But it's got a screw top. So it's kind of cool. And the idea, and I'll show in a second, is just fill this full of coins. And then you put this on the top. And then you have your weighted doorstop. And the idea is I could lift it with my hand if I wanted to, but pretty much I'm going to just kick it with my foot back and forth. And it's hopefully work pretty conveniently. I already have it at one of my doors, and it's working just fine. So with that, let me go over the details. Okay, so the details. So the bottom piece. It's kind of a big piece, so it took a while to print. So this took 16 hours and 23 minutes to print. It took 13.5 cents of electricity, and it weighs 0.202 kilograms. So at $20 per kilogram, it's $4.04 worth of filament. So a bit of filament, but it is kind of big. And so in total, this cost $4.18 to print. And now for the top's a little simpler, a little small, much smaller. This took 2 hours and 4 minutes to print. It took 2 cents of electricity. It weighs 0.018 kilograms, and at $20 per kilogram comes out to 36 cents worth of material. So total cost on this is 38 cents. And I guess the nice thing about this, it's so small, you can do different designs and print other things. And since it screws on, I could try different ideas. In total, both of these took 18 hours and 27 minutes to print, and it cost $4.55 to print. So a little bit more expensive print. I think I could have made the walls thinner, and it would be fine. But I plan on keeping these around for a while, and I kind of would like them to be a little sturdier. So yeah, you could probably save some money that way. But I think I'd rather be a little sturdier and stronger. So with that, I'm going to kind of finish this up with how many pennies does it take to fill this thing up, and then how much does it weigh once you get all those in? Okay, one thing before I start loading this up full of pennies is I just want to go over a slight design change I did from my original, because I did, I think, 3 iterations on this. And this one is one I've been using. And what you can see here is a little rough right here, because as most of you know, if you go over a 45-degree angle up, that it starts getting wonky, it doesn't work. 45 and under for me seems to work really good on the Prusa. And so since this was printed like this got a little wonky because I had a nice little arc here, and at the arc here it was much more than a 45-degree angle, so this got all messed up. So in my redesign, I don't know how well it shows up, but you see it from the angle. This is no longer a 45-degree angle. It's under 45 to make sure that you don't get that artifacting. So I didn't have that at all on this redesign. So I think I'll do another video after this one showing how I created this so other people could create their own or something similar. But anyway, so that's one thing I fixed. Now this one has about almost $15 of pennies in it, but my redesign did change the void a little bit, so we'll see how many pennies we can get in here. So I imagine I'll fast forward through here, but right now, because who wants to watch this in slow motion? I got $20 worth of pennies here, and so I am going to start loading it up. There we go. So at this point, I'm at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, about 12, almost $12. But I'm at the top, but I can shake more in there. Oh, it's like 13 cents shy of $15. So was that $4.87? So, and that's a little bit packed over the top, but this should press it down, I think. So let's do this, and let's see how much it weighs. Get my scale out. Okay, let's see. Oh, you probably can't see the weight there very well. Let me move the camera. There we go. 9 pounds. 4.1 kilograms. Okay, so here it is. It's all in action. It's all working. And so I kind of like that idea that I can just get out of the way, kick it back, and call it good. And of course, now my wife just made the point, why don't you make the back flat? That's a good idea, maybe. I don't know, but it is kind of nice because you can kick it. If you made it flat, then you may have to angle it just right. Here you don't have to worry about it. But anyway, it's working. I like it. I think the next cool idea, if I got some time, way cooler doorstop, would be Thor's hammer. But I haven't. But if you're going to do it, design it right. I think you could design it. You have to get the right exact dimensions to make it really cool, and then have the big handle on the top. It wouldn't be as, I don't think it'd be as kick friendly, but you could just go down there and pick up the hammer and move it, and that'd be really cool. But we'll see if I ever do it. But I think that's a good idea. Okay, that's enough for this video, I guess. Hey, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hey, give it a thumbs down. Also, if you like what we're doing here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. And lastly, have a piece of info to share? Just post a comment.